Hello, everyone. Jacquie Edwards here. Thank you for joining me today. Oh, I've actually been having a bit of a crazy day. I think it's only Wednesday or something. Oh my goodness. So I woke up and I looked at my phone and we already had some big massive leak at one of the properties. We had a burst pipe, so it's been all kinds of fun. Luckily, I don't have to run around dealing with it. I do have my property manager, and luckily she tends to sleep in quite a bit in the morning. So luckily she was up bright and early this morning and has been dealing with it. But now we've got a flooded house that has no electricity because the water leaked right onto the fuse box. Which means we've got no way to run a dehumidifier at the moment to dry everything out. So yeah, it's a bit of an adventure. But it's all under control. Hopefully the tenants will understand. It does happen to be one of our houses where the tenants are probably the most demanding and whiny tenants that we've got, but that's okay. Yeah, we've got a couple of options, so hopefully they'll be all right. So anyways, that's what I've been doing this morning, along with I just had a call with my VIP group. So I had a fun chat with them now. Yeah, we also had an oven delivery coming at the same time, so my poor property manager is absolutely flat out at the moment. So, all a day in the life of a property investor, I guess. So it's all good. And the thing is we'll get onto the main topic in a second, but one of the things, a big lesson from all of this is when I got started, I would be in tears right now when this happened. So I would be running around like crazy. I would be super, super stressed out and I would be in tears trying to get it all accomplished. But after a few years, we haven't had many floods or anything, so this stuff hasn't happened. But after a few things go wrong, you figure out that you know what, you can deal with everything that comes along. It's all figure outable. It's all going to be okay. And while I am feeling quite stressed out, and there is a lot happening at the moment, I know that it's all going to get sorted out, and it's not the end of the world, whatever happens. So that's quite interesting, and it all just happens as it happens, and it's all good learning experiences. So with that, today's topic is how quickly can you build your rent-to-rent portfolio? Now, for any of you that are on my current rent-to-rent business booster emailing series, where we're getting an email every day for the first few days or first 24 days of December, you will have gotten a video today. Now, that video is an interview with me and one of my recent students that's just done my kind of 9-week training program. And he has done an amazing job getting his rent-to-rent business up and running. So if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you check it out. That's basically just a short kind of couple of clips of the video with some of the questions that we talked through. We're going to have a bigger video coming out in a couple of weeks, so keep your eye out for that. It is super, super inspiring just to see how he's done it and what he's done kind of starting from scratch right now, because I know for a lot of you, you see me as I am now, where I can just talk away on this little video here and I sound like I know everything, what's going on, and everything's easy and everything's wonderful. And you're thinking, yeah, well, that's you. You can do all of this, but I'm me, and this is harder for me. You didn't see me 5 years ago when I was getting started and I cried every day and I was scared shitless to talk to people. And, it was really, really difficult for me to get started because I had no experience in all this. I was learning it all from scratch and figuring it out as I went along. So I thought it would be quite inspirational to have somebody come on that is in the trenches right now where you are. They went from, having no property experience in about June of this year to they got their first property in September. And they've got 3 properties now, and before the end of the year, so it's December at the moment. So they got 3 properties in basically 6 months, starting from absolutely nothing. So he got my kind of first book there in June and got started with rent to rent then. So 6 months to 3 properties makes about $2,500 profit every month, probably a little bit more. So not a bad place to be in 6 months. He had that first property kind of up and running by the end of September. And as he said in the video, he had it rented out within 4 days. So really amazing stuff. So it can happen that quickly. The key thing to making it happen that quickly is getting out and taking action. So from watching him and watching what he did is he just took the information I had, he took the step-by-steps, and he went out there and he implemented it. So he did the research, he picked his area. One of the things that isn't in the shorter video is that he actually is investing in Oxford, which is my main area as well. But unlike me, where he lives nearby where he's investing, he actually lives in London. But based on some of the research he did for what he was looking for his specific business needs and his specific personal needs, he decided that London wasn't where he was going to invest. And Oxford was a better market for him. So he also had to commute back and forth every time he needed to do a viewing and to get his business up and running. He had to learn a whole new area, and he had to do it all basically kind of from scratch while he was working his job. So it's it's interesting to see what you can do if you really, really put your mind to it, really, really focus on it. And one of the key tips that he had in that video is not to look for perfection. So you aren't looking for the absolute best deal that anybody could ever find that's going to be, showcased in a magazine and you're going to win Investor of the Year for your first deal. You don't have to find that deal. You can just find one that works for you. So, it's great. We all want to make £2,000 per month on a property profit. I mean, that would be amazing, but that's not what every deal is like. I've got deals that make, £500 a month profit, and I'm perfectly happy with those. So it's looking at, what are you happy with? Are you going to hold out for that £2,000 a month profit deal, which, yes, of course they're out there, but maybe you'll find one of them a year? Or are you going to go out there and find 6 or 7 £500 a month properties and build your business up that way so that you can get started, get going, and do it now instead of waiting for that absolute perfect property to come along? And the same thing is, you don't have to wait until you're absolutely perfect with everything that you're saying, everything that you're talking about, that you know absolutely everything before you get out there and do those viewings. The important thing is that you get out there and you start doing viewings, because that's where you're going to learn the most on how to do it, how to interact with agents, how to interact with landlords, how to, negotiate, how to understand what they're looking for, how to understand what their problems are, is by getting out there and doing it. There's only so much you can do book learning, only so much you can do taking training courses. It's all in your implementation of that process. So, I can sit here and I can teach you step by step, which is what I do in my book. It's what I do in all my courses. I teach you step by step. Here's exactly what you need to do. But the key thing is that you have to go out and do it. And it is super scary. And it is really hard. And on the video, Alberto talks about, English isn't his native language, and he was scared about that. And I know a lot of people that I talk to, a lot of you out there watching, English might not be your first language, and you're really worried about going to talking to agents, and are they going to, are they going to want to work with you because you're not from England? I'm not from England. English is my first language, but I still get funny looks from people that are like, "Oh, you're American. What are you doing here?" It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter. Anybody can do it. You just have to put the time and the effort in and just take the actions. Your first few viewings, they're not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn from them. Your first few properties might not be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn from them. But as long as you're getting out there and getting more properties, if the first one wasn't great, but you've got 3 more, well, that's all right then. You can cover it. So don't wait for perfection. Whether it's in you or in finding that absolute perfect deal, just get out there, take action. You can kind of fix anything afterwards. You can fix it, you can make it better, you can make it work, but you have to get out there and be taking the action. So how fast can you build your rent-to-rent business? Well, as you can see, 6 months to 3 properties, that's not too bad at all. When I got started, so I got started in January, was it 2015? No, 2014. Anyways, I had my first 2 properties signed in April, starting for May 1st, I think it was. So May is the 5th month of the year. So I had 2 in May and June, 1 in June and 2 in July. So for that first 6 months, I had 3 properties too in my first 6 months. And then I had kind of another 10 by the end of that year. Basically, I had 10 signed by the end of my first 12 months. So and I was out there every day pushing it, doing viewings, doing everything I could to kind of make it happen. I sounded like an idiot. I sounded like a crazy person in the beginning, and that's why sometimes it takes those first couple of months to get that first deal. Some people, if you are not kind of shy and introverted like me, you might be able to go a bit faster. If you're, you know, better at building relationships, you're an extrovert, you can probably do it more quickly because you're used to building relationships with people. And this is a people business. It's all about building that relationship, building the credibility, building the trust with the landlords and the agents. So the faster you can do that, the more quickly you can build your rent to rent business. But I would say in 6 months, you can get 3 deals. I've done it. Alberto on the video did it. I know many other people that have done it. It's totally possible. But if you haven't after 3 months, don't give up. You might be right on the edge. If you've been out there doing viewings and explaining yourself and making offers, then you're doing the right things. And sometimes it just takes enough practice so that you get really smooth and confident in what you're saying. So if you haven't gotten there yet, it's okay. Everybody has their own pace. Everybody has their own journey. Make sure you're learning from absolutely everything that's happening so that next time you do it better and better and better and better and better. And then pretty soon you're nailing every single one that you go to, because it only gets easier as you go along. So those first few deals are the hardest ones. And then after that, it actually starts to get a little bit boring because it's basically the same thing over and over and over again. You might not believe that now if you're just getting started, but it's true. It gets boring. You're just doing the same thing. There's not really anything super special to learn. Quick question from, I think it's Joanna. How hard is your rent to rent time out now in December? I don't really understand what your question is asking. How hard is it to rent out your properties? Might be what she's asking in December. It's a lot harder. The market is super slow right now for finding tenants, so we do have a couple of empty rooms at the moment. It's made even harder by the fact that my person that does all my viewings is going on holiday at the end of this week, and I just don't want to do any viewings. And I'm going away for a week as well. So we won't be doing viewings for about 3 weeks. She is recording a couple of videos. So this is a tip if you don't want to be doing loads of viewings for finding new tenants over the holiday period. We're going to put together a quick video kind of viewing that my assistant will send out to anybody that asks questions or asks for a viewing when we're not available to do any, because we'll be out from the 24th until about the 9th of December, not doing any viewing. So again, I do have some voids. Unfortunately, we had one house where we've had a tenant he's an okay guy, but he was just kind of loud. He wasn't a great roommate. So we had 3 people in his house move out all at the same time. And they basically moved into a house together because they didn't want to live with him. So as a result of that, and we've had many complaints about him from past roommates who moved out because they didn't like him, we have evicted him, which left 4 rooms in one house kind of empty all at the same time. So we've still got a couple of those to fill up, because this is the time Hello? Oh, hello? I don't know if I'm on right now. What a mess. My day is just absolutely crazy at the moment. So sorry for those of you that were watching the live video. Because basically my internet connection is terrible right now. I did see, Nancy, that you asked a quick question in the other one. So it says, when you mention arranging viewings, is it a mix of approaching letting agents and direct to vendor? Yes, it was. So in the very beginning, when I was arranging those viewings, I was getting the list of licensed HMOs. I was sending them letters. It can take a little while for that to all kind of come through. So while I was waiting for more responses for that, I switched over and I was doing loads of viewings with letting agents. So in the very, very beginning, most of my viewings were with letting agents just because that was the quickest way to do viewings. And again, I wasn't looking for perfection. So I wasn't scouring Rightmove. I wasn't analyzing every deal before I got on there. I was just looking to do viewings. So I would talk to a letting agent. I'd find a couple of properties on Rightmove that had 5 bedrooms. I would send that agent a message and book as many viewings of whatever properties they had that were 4 or 5 bedrooms that the landlord was interested in long-term lets for. So I recommend not overanalyzing things, not looking for perfection, just getting out there, doing loads of viewings. And then once I had sent out a few letters, given it a bit of time, I started getting more kind of direct to vendor viewings. So that's how it worked for me in the beginning. So I can see a couple of you have come back on. I don't know what happened to my computer. Really sorry about that. It's actually still frozen. I can't do anything on it. I can't even hit Alt Control Delete. It's just a mess. So today is one of those days where absolutely everything goes wrong. So good times, but at least the sun is shining out here today, so that makes me feel kind of good. But I do have to run off. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for bearing with me. Remember that you can do this. It's all about getting out there and taking action. Give yourself 6 months. You can get that first deal in there as long as you really are out there doing your viewings and making offers. It will happen. Don't wait for perfection. Go and make kind of your perfection happen for you. So thank you very much, everyone. I will try to get these videos put together into kind of a reasonable format, and I'll repost them so you can see everything. Otherwise, have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. I will be back next Wednesday for a live video. Make sure that you are signed up for my email list. Right now we're doing the 24 kind of the days of the Business Booster series. On the 25th of December, I've got a Christmas present for you. We are starting the 12 days of December. I've got a really great video series for you that's coming on the 25th of December. So make sure you've checked that out. Make sure you've registered for the messages. And I have a wonderful, wonderful holiday period, and I will see you again soon.